Now, having determined our terminal value perpetual growth, we want to take a hybrid of both. So in this case, it's going to be equal to average of the exit multiple and the perpetual growth formula here. So we have a terminal value, net present value of approximately $4 trillion on average, and for the exit multiple, it's approximately $5 trillion, and for the perpetual growth, approximately $2 trillion. So let us revise this formula for the golden growth model. So let us revise this formula. So if we'll state the formula at the beginning that if, just an if statement, that if the WACC, so underscore WACC is equal to the long-term growth what we don't want this to give us a div 0. So in this case, if the WACC is equal to the long-term growth, let it just give us a 0. Otherwise, let's proceed with the calculations. So in this case, we will just set this to be dash since we just want the 0. Otherwise, let it proceed with the calculations. You can close that and we'll press enter so that in case if the WACC, the weighted average cost of capital, is equal to the long-term growth, then that perpetuity formula might not be applicable. So in this case, let it just give us a 0 rather than leaving an error here. So having that set up, we can now bring in the toggle where we can select between this terminal value, we can select between the perpetual growth and the average. So in this case, we're going to use the choose function. So we go choose, and we switch back to our control panel tab where we had year. Remember, we set this up, this terminal value methodology toggle. So we reference this here where we have to select between those methodologies and then switch back to our DCF tab, and we are selecting between the terminal value exit multiple. We select the terminal value perpetual growth, and we also select here the average. Close that, we press enter. So in this case, it is selecting for us the terminal value exit multiple. So if we switch back to the control panel tab, and here we can change this to the perpetual growth. And if we switch back to the DCF tab, we can see that it's just looking up that perpetual growth terminal value calculation. Also, if we switch to the control panel tab, we switch this to the average, we switch back to the DCF tab, we can see that it's picking up the average as our terminal value, that is the hybrid of the exit and the perpetual growth. So as you can see, it's very, very good to see this flowing through the model. Now we can just bring that back to the exit multiple. So we have that selecting that $5 trillion. Now, to determine the valuation free cash flow to the firm, and also the terminal value, where we just set the investment amount, in this case, here from the in this case, let us just set this to be 0 for the transaction date, means nothing occurred within the time. And then going forward for the valuation free cash flow to the firm, we know that cash flows kicked in from the year 2021. So we take the cash flow and we multiply that by the year fraction, that is the stop period between the transaction date and the first year of cash flow. So we have that set up there. So we can fill this all the way to the end of the projected period. Fill that right with Control R. We can do the same thing for the terminal value. So in this case, it's going to be 0 for the start period until this end period. Fill that right